there comes a time in life when you must accept that the path ahead is yours alone to walk. No matter how much love, support, or encouragement you receive from others, no one can carry you across the bridge of your own transformation. You have to walk alone, not because people do not care, not because help does not exist, but because the inner journey of growth requires solitude, silence, and self-discovery. This is where your true strength is revealed, not when you have a crowd behind you cheering, but when you stand at the edge of your doubts and take the step forward with no guarantee of what lies ahead. Walking alone teaches you the most powerful lesson, independence of the mind. As long as you rely on constant validation, as long as you wait for someone to reassure you, as long as you need others to agree with your choices, you are never truly free. Freedom comes when you act from clarity, when you trust yourself enough to move forward even when the world does not understand. Many people never reach their potential because they fear being misunderstood. They fear loneliness, they fear judgment, and they fear the silence that comes with standing apart. But the silence of walking alone is not emptiness. It is the birthplace of clarity. When you walk alone, distractions fall away. Without the noise of opinions, without the weight of expectations, you begin to hear your own voice. That voice has been buried under years of influence, hidden beneath the demands of society, family, and peers. It whispers your deepest desires, your truest direction, and your real identity. But it only becomes clear when you create space for it. Walking alone creates that space. It is in solitude that you discover what you genuinely want, what you truly believe, and what kind of life you are willing to build. Do not mistake walking alone for weakness. It is not a sign that you have no one. It is a choice, a discipline, and a commitment to your own path. It is easy to follow the crowd. It is comfortable to stay within the herd. It feels safe to do what everyone else is doing. But comfort is the cage that prevents growth. Real progress demands risk, and risk often requires stepping away from the familiar. Walking alone means accepting that not everyone will understand your choices, not everyone will support your pace, and not everyone will celebrate your victories. Yet if you wait for universal approval, you will never take the step at all. In every story of greatness, there is a season of solitude. The artist creating in silence, the athlete training before dawn, the student studying long after others have quit, the thinker challenging ideas that no one else dares to question. All must walk alone before their work speaks for itself. Solitude is the crucible where greatness is forged. Those who cannot handle walking alone remain forever dependent on the noise of others, and their growth is limited by the crowd they cling to. Those who embrace solitude discover that their resilience multiplies, their focus sharpens, and their self-respect deepens. Walking alone also reveals who truly belongs in your life. When you step away from the familiar path, people will respond in different ways. Some will criticize, some will distance themselves, some will mock, and some will even try to pull you back. But there will be a few who respect your decision, even if they do not understand it. They do not try to control you. They do not demand that you return. They simply respect your need for independence. Those are the people worth keeping close, for they value you not for what you give them, but for who you are becoming. The rest fall away, and though their absence may sting, it leaves you lighter, freer, and stronger. The fear of walking alone is one of the greatest obstacles people face. They fear the empty road, they fear the silence, they fear the responsibility of choosing for themselves. But the road is not empty, it is filled with discovery. The silence is not frightening, it is healing. The responsibility is not a burden, it is the price of freedom. Every step you take alone builds a foundation that no one can take from you. Skills, resilience, discipline, confidence. These are the treasures you collect when you walk alone, and when the time comes to walk with others again, you walk as a stronger, more complete version of yourself. Walking alone does not mean shutting the world out. It does not mean you reject love, friendship, or community. It means you are no longer dependent on them to define you. It means you can be in the world without being consumed by it. It means you can love without clinging, help without losing yourself, and connect without becoming lost in the expectations of others. This balance is only possible when you have first learned to stand firmly on your own. You will be tested on this path. Doubt will whisper in your ear, memories of failure will resurface, and the temptation to return to comfort will call you back. In those moments, remind yourself why you began. You did not choose to walk alone because it was easy. You chose it because it was necessary. You chose it because you recognized that growth never happens in the safety of the crowd. You chose it because something inside you refuses to remain average. Hold on to that reason when the road feels long, and you will find the strength to keep moving forward. The truth is, every great transformation is personal, and personal journeys cannot be walked by committee. You can receive guidance, you can receive wisdom, you can receive support, but no one can take the steps for you. No one can face your fears, no one can overcome your doubts, and no one can claim your victories. These are yours alone, earned by your decision to move forward when no one else was willing. And it is precisely because you walked alone that the reward carries so much weight. So when you feel isolated, when you feel as though no one understands, when you feel the heavy silence of solitude, remember this: you are not lost, you are not abandoned, you are building strength that few have the courage to build. You are learning to hear your own voice. You are creating a foundation that will carry you through the storms of life. You are becoming unshakable, not because others held you up, but because you learned to stand on your own. You have to walk alone, not forever, but for long enough to discover who you are without the noise of the world. And once you do, you will find that when you return to walk with others, you walk differently, calmer, clearer, stronger. You no longer fear being left behind, because you know you can walk alone. You no longer need approval, because you approve of yourself. You no longer cling to comfort, because you have tasted the power of resilience. The path of solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. It is the refining fire that shapes you into the person capable of leading, creating, and inspiring. It strips away the unnecessary, it silences the noise, and it shows you the depth of your own strength. Most people will never dare to take this path, but those who do discover something extraordinary. They do not walk alone forever. They walk alone long enough to become strong, and then their strength draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right future toward them. You have to walk alone, because only then do you learn to truly walk anywhere, with anyone, through anything, and toward everything you were meant to become. The strength you seek is born the moment you dare to walk alone. Strength does not come from the comfort of being surrounded by people who constantly reassure you, nor does it come from the noise of a crowd that tells you what you want to hear. Strength is born in the silence where no one else is present to carry your doubts. No one else is there to tell you what to do, and no one else is walking the same road with you. It is in that silence where you begin to face your own thoughts without distraction, where you come face to face with your fears, and where you are forced to rely on yourself in ways you never thought possible. Walking alone is not easy, but it is the path that transforms weakness into resilience and uncertainty into confidence. When you walk alone, You feel the weight of your choices more intensely. There is no one to blame, no one to shift responsibility onto, no one to soften the consequences. At first, this weight feels heavy, but as you continue to carry it, you discover that it builds strength, just like lifting resistance in physical training. Every step taken in solitude is resistance training for the mind and spirit. The longer you endure it, the stronger you become, and what once felt unbearable becomes second nature. The strength you seek is not delivered to you. It is forged through your decision to step forward when no one else walks beside you. People often fear walking alone because they imagine it means being abandoned or unloved. But solitude is not the same as loneliness. Loneliness is the absence of connection, while solitude is the presence of self. Walking alone is the process of learning how to be at peace with yourself, how to trust yourself, and how to value your own company. Most people avoid this because it is uncomfortable to sit with their own thoughts without distraction. But those who dare to walk alone discover that within that discomfort lies untapped potential. They discover creativity, they discover clarity, and they discover a deeper strength that cannot be given by others. The strength you seek is hidden behind discomfort. If you never walk alone, you remain dependent on the approval, validation, and direction of those around you. Your steps are guided by their opinions, and your choices are shaped by their expectations. But the moment you step away, even for a while, you begin to act not from pressure, but from authenticity. You begin to make decisions based on your own values, not borrowed beliefs. And though the path may be harder without the safety of the crowd, it is also freer. Freedom always comes with challenge, but challenge is what creates strength. Every great achievement requires someone to walk alone first. The scientist working late into the night when everyone else sleeps, the athlete training in silence before anyone believes in them, the leader making a decision no one else understands. Each of them has chosen to embrace solitude. They are not stronger because they had support at every step. They are stronger because they proved to themselves that they could endure when there was no support at all. The strength they built in solitude is what allowed them to eventually inspire others, but it always began with the decision to walk alone. Walking alone strips away illusions. When you are surrounded by others, it is easy to hide behind their opinions, their energy, or their direction. But when it is just you, there is nowhere to hide. You see your own flaws, your own weaknesses, and your own doubts with painful clarity. This can be frightening, but it is also the key to transformation. Only when you see yourself honestly can you begin to grow. Only when you acknowledge your weaknesses can you develop them into strengths. And only when you rely on yourself can you discover how capable you truly are. The strength you seek is not built in moments of comfort, but in moments of challenge. Walking alone is one of the greatest challenges because it demands both courage and patience. Courage to face the unknown, and patience to endure the silence. But these are the exact qualities that form the foundation of strength. Courage allows you to act without needing certainty, and patience allows you to keep moving even when results do not come quickly. The more you cultivate these qualities, the stronger you become, and the more you realize that strength was never something you had to wait for. It was something you had to create. When you dare to walk alone, you also discover who truly supports you. Many will disappear when you no longer follow the path they expect. Some will criticize, some will doubt, and some will simply fall silent. But the few who remain, even from a distance, even without fully understanding, are the ones who respect your journey. Walking alone clears away the noise so you can see which voices are genuine and which only existed because you were convenient. That clarity is another form of strength because it frees you from false connections and leaves you surrounded only by those who respect your independence. The process of walking alone transforms you because it changes the way you see yourself. At first, you may feel small, uncertain, and even afraid, but as you continue, you realize you are capable of more than you thought. You realize that you can survive without constant reassurance, you can endure without constant support, and you can succeed without constant guidance. This realization changes everything because once you know you can stand alone, you are no longer desperate to cling to others. You connect with people from strength, not from need, and that shift makes every relationship healthier. The strength you seek is born in the very moment you stop waiting for others to walk with you. It is born when you stop hesitating, stop delaying, and stop wishing for someone to make the path easier. It is born when you accept that the path is hard, but you are capable of walking it. That first step into solitude is often the hardest, but it is also the most important. It is the step that separates those who only dream from those who act, those who talk from those who do, and those who wait from those who move. Once you take that step, the strength within you begins to grow, and each step afterward becomes easier than the last. To walk alone is to discover what has always been within you, but hidden beneath dependency. It is to unlock a deeper level of resilience, discipline, and focus. It is to understand that strength is not given, it is earned through action. And the moment you dare to take that action by yourself, without waiting for company, without waiting for approval, without waiting for permission, you realize that you were stronger than you ever imagined. The strength you seek is born the moment you dare to walk alone, because that is the moment you stop looking outside for what has always been inside. It is the moment you trust yourself enough to keep moving even when the road is empty. It is the moment you become unshakable because you no longer depend on anything external to keep going. That strength will carry you through challenges, through setbacks, and through every season of life, because it was built not on someone else's support, but on your own will. Solitude is not emptiness. It is the space where clarity and power are created. Too often, people confuse being alone with being incomplete, as if the absence of others automatically means something is missing. But solitude is not a void, it is a container. It is the quiet place where distractions are stripped away, and where the noise of the world finally fades enough for you to hear yourself. It is in solitude that the fog of confusion begins to clear, and you start to see your life, your goals, and your challenges with sharper vision. Emptiness is a state of lack, but solitude is a state of presence, a presence with yourself that is deeper and more honest than anything you can experience when surrounded by constant activity. When you step into solitude, you allow your mind to breathe. Daily life fills you with interruptions, demands, and endless information. The constant rush leaves no room for reflection, and without reflection, there can be no clarity. In solitude, time slows down. Thoughts that were tangled begin to untangle. Problems that seemed impossible start to reveal solutions. Dreams that felt distant suddenly feel attainable because you finally give yourself the silence to think clearly. This silence is not empty. It is fertile ground where new ideas, new understandings, and new strength begin to grow. Power is not created in moments of chaos. It is created in moments of stillness. Solitude gives you the chance to reset, to gather yourself, and to recharge your energy. Just as a warrior sharpens their blade in silence before stepping into battle, you sharpen your mind and spirit in solitude before stepping back into the world. Without this sharpening, you become dull, scattered, and reactive. But when you embrace solitude, you return to life with focus, intention, and a calm strength that cannot be shaken by every distraction. That power is invisible to others at first, but it is deeply felt within you. Many people fear solitude because it confronts them with their own thoughts. They fill their lives with constant company, endless entertainment, and noise because silence feels uncomfortable. Yet discomfort is often the first step toward growth. When you face yourself in solitude, you come across truths that may be difficult to accept. Your fears, your insecurities, your regrets. But facing them in silence is what allows you to work through them. The things you run from in the crowd will always follow you until you meet them in solitude. And once you face them, you realize they do not control you anymore. That realization is clarity, and that clarity is the foundation of power. Solitude also teaches you independence of thought. Surrounded by others, it is easy to absorb their opinions, their judgments, and their beliefs until you can no longer distinguish what is truly yours. In solitude, you filter those voices out. You begin to ask yourself, what do I believe? What do I want? What direction feels right to me? The answers that come in solitude are pure because they are not influenced by outside pressure. They may not align with what others expect, but they align with what is authentic. And when you live from authenticity, you live with strength, because you are no longer swayed by every passing opinion. Clarity born from solitude also gives you focus. In a world full of distractions, most people scatter their energy across too many directions and achieve little. But solitude strips away the noise and forces you to confront what actually matters. You begin to see which goals are worth pursuing, which relationships are worth maintaining, and which habits are worth breaking. Focus is the ability to channel your energy into what counts, and that ability comes from clarity. Without solitude, it is nearly impossible to find. With solitude, it becomes obvious, and in that focus lies power. The power to act decisively, the power to endure difficulty, the power to stay consistent when others give up. People often think of power as something external, like influence or control over others. But the deepest power is internal, control over yourself. That power is born in solitude, because solitude gives you the chance to align your thoughts, your values, and your actions. When those three align, you become unstoppable. Nothing outside can break you, because you are no longer divided within yourself. Solitude is not emptiness, because emptiness leaves you weaker, while solitude makes you stronger. Each time you return from solitude, you bring back more awareness, more energy, and more clarity. The time spent alone becomes an investment that pays off in every area of life. You make better decisions because you are not clouded by noise. You build deeper relationships because you are not entering them from neediness but from wholeness. You pursue goals with more determination because you know why they matter to you. None of this comes from emptiness. It all comes from the quiet strength built in solitude. Even nature reflects this truth. A tree grows in silence, roots digging deep where no one can see. A river carves valleys not with noise, but with steady, quiet persistence. The most powerful forces in life often move in silence. Your solitude works the same way. Others may not see what is happening while you are alone, but growth is happening. Strength is being built, clarity is being formed, and when you emerge, you are different. You carry yourself with a quiet confidence that does not need to shout because it knows its own power. The world may try to convince you that being alone is a weakness, but that is only because many are afraid to face themselves. They mistake constant activity for purpose and constant company for value. But deep down, they still feel lost because they have never spent enough time in solitude to truly know themselves. You must understand that solitude is not emptiness. It is the hidden workshop where your mind, heart, and spirit are refined. It is where you strip away the false layers and stand face to face with your true self. Clarity and power are created in solitude, but they only become visible when you bring them back into the world. The insights you gain, the strength you build, the focus you develop, these are not meant to stay hidden. They are meant to guide your actions, shape your choices, and strengthen your presence in every interaction. The time spent in solitude is not wasted time, it is preparation. It is the unseen training that makes visible results possible. So the next time you find yourself alone, do not rush to fill the silence. Do not run from it. Embrace it. Use it. Listen to what emerges in that quiet space. The more you practice solitude, the more you will realize it is not emptiness at all. It is fullness. It is clarity. It is power. And it is available to anyone who dares to step away from the noise long enough to experience it. Solitude is not emptiness. It is the space where clarity and power are created. It is the stillness where the fog clears, where your strength is rebuilt, and where you learn to stand firmly on your own. Embrace it, and you will discover that the silence you once feared becomes the silence that makes you unshakable.